I love that you guys are onboarding this way. Jordan Brenner and Peter Keating are joining us. It's the Underdogs podcast. Some of it's sideways. The rest of it is straight up. They give you underdogs wherever it is that you get your betting information. It's not as good as these guys. They do all the math. They're not great at Zoom, but math, iPhone's a problem. Zoom's not great, but Jordan Brenner, keep it like that. No, please. I prefer. Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, keep it like it's better.
Keep it sideways.
I don't know.
Straight.
I don't know which one is under, which one is dog. I do know that one of them is now.
Can you both be sideways?
Jordan, can you go sideways?
Yeah, can you?
I've been trying to get Peter turned around for a long time, so I'm really excited that this is happening.
All right. Now, I will tell everybody who's listening to this that if you listen to God Bless Football, Billy Gill is 41-17, and it's an amazing betting streak here. But these guys are really good at it. They host the Underdogs podcast on the DraftKings network, and they are diving deep into the numbers in a way that makes me a bit crazy because they're looking for winning in all sorts of margins, and it sort of makes me uncomfortable how obsessive they have to be about looking for even the smallest trends. But you guys are in the information business, and so, Jordan, I will ask you, headed into this postseason, Mike Ryan is making a ton of futures bets on 49ers, Rams, and he's just looking at the Bengals and saying one of these teams can get hot and beat everybody. Do you, either of you, like that as a value proposition on an underdog bet?
No, because to win in the postseason, first you have to get into the postseason, and the odds of any of those teams even playing a playoff game are so low that I would rather light $100 bills on fire.
Okay, so Mike, you thought you had something there, and
just need one of them to get hot. One of them will get hot.
Mike, the Bengals are 5-8. They're 5-8.
They're still alive. They're still alive. A lot of one-score unlucky situations there for this team.
If you want to talk about unlucky teams, your Dolphins are a better bet.
Really? Yeah. Well, they're not my Dolphins, but I guess there's a lot of positive vibes over here for the Miami Dolphins, and maybe you can get into that because I like them to possibly lose to the San Francisco 49ers in the Super Bowl.
Peter?
I'll tell you what, if it's Dolphins, 49ers in the Super Bowl, I will fly you there and feed you.
That's all you'll do?
Sideways, Peter, it seems like Jordan is really hogging the ball right now. You're trying to get in here, but he won't let you in.
Look, you're right about us being obsessive. I'm so obsessed that I don't even worry about technology. All I care about is underdog bets. Look, yes, the Bengals are likely to get hot next year. I mean, one of the things we talk about a lot is teams that are fortunate and unfortunate. And yeah, the Bengals have had terrible luck, but the clock has run out on them. I mean, come on. Yes, the Bengals are a great bet to rebound next year because teams that fail to live up, their record fails to live up to their underlying stats, usually do a lot better, and vice versa. The worst thing a team can do, or its fans, or its people betting on it, is take a team that's fortunate or lucky and assume that that's going to last. It doesn't last. The stupidest thing people say in life and sports is, I'd rather be lucky than good. Really? No, you wouldn't. I mean, luck is by definition a surprise. It doesn't sustain. It doesn't last. It's ephemeral. Talent wins out over the long term. So if you find underdogs that are better than they look, those are the ones to bet on. Dolphins are a good example. The Bengals would be a good example, but they just lost too many unfortunate games for too long.
Do me a favor, please. Put him upside down. Put Peter Keating upside down so I can enjoy all of his analysis upside down. Jordan Brenner, I want to talk to him the normal way, straight up, and I want to bounce between the two of you. Are you believing in the Vikings?
Oh, great. So that's a great point, and it speaks to what we were saying about luck. So 2 years ago, they won an incredible number of one-score games. It was unsustainable, and we said going into the playoffs, they're a ripe chance for an upset. They lose to the Giants. By the way, Giants speak to what Peter's saying about don't confuse lucky with good. We see where they are after assuming, we're a little further ahead in the rebuild than we thought. But this year, we said, okay, the Vikings, they didn't regress to the mean last year. They regressed way past the mean. So they were actually one of our preseason over picks. I'll let Peter explain why, but yes, we believe in them.
Yeah. Look, they were outscored by only 18 points last year, but they were 7-10. Also, we talk about luck. Can also talk about things that great underdogs have in common is they play high risk, high reward. They take a lot of chances for benefits. They take crazy shots. We started, take crazy, puncher's chance. When you hear about somebody with a puncher's chance, the reason anyone thought Mike Tyson had a chance of winning at the age of 58 in his last fight, because he could still kill somebody with one punch. If you can kill somebody with one punch, you're going to be a good underdog. A version of that crazy chance taking is if you lose your quarterback, but you have somebody who might really be good, that's an underdog to keep an eye on. That's something that happened with the Vikings. Look, there's all kinds of luck teams bounce back from. I mean, the Dolphins, when the Dolphins were 2-6 and all the rest of these crappy teams had 2 wins, we said keep an eye on them. It wasn't just, right? It wasn't just that they were upside down like me. It was that they had bad injury luck. Teams were beating them on 60-yard field goals. Their pressures weren't turning into sacks. They were due to bounce back in all kinds of ways.
Look,
that's what they've done.
These guys have chemistry. You should listen to Underdogs on the DraftKings Network. They do have chemistry. I don't know how long you guys have been working together, but I don't think that Peter can be made happier by anything in the present media sphere than you giving serious analysis upside down. He is radiant right now watching you give your serious underdog analysis while look at him. Look out.
Well, that's because when I nod, what he likes is when I nod yes or no, and it doesn't matter if you're upside down. If all I am is his yes man. If I'm nodding, it still looks like I'm saying yes, even if I'm pointed the wrong way. So,
Dan, the answer for how long we've been working together is to remember that little cartoon drawing of you in ESPN the magazine? Like that's how long we've been working together. It's too long is the answer.
What's interesting in the upside down background, we keep spinning it around and it just makes the framed picture of Odell Beckham Jr.'s catch look more routine than it actually was.
There it is. I'll one-hand it for you. There it is.
This Upside Down interview is presented by Masterclass. Learn from the best to become your best.
You guys dive deep into the numbers. So the Kansas City Chiefs are what kind of mirage?
Oh, come
Peter, you want
on.
this one?
It's not an insult to Patrick Mahomes or Travis Kelce to point out that they win by like 0.6 of a point per game. I mean, Dan, you know this. You talk about this, how people search for meaning in everything in life and have to attribute things to players' characters, or there has to be a reason. There doesn't have to be a reason. They're lucky. They've won a bunch of games by close margins. Okay, but that's just not going to last. They're likely to get hit in the face pretty bad by a really good team in the playoffs. I mean, that's my opinion.
We have to stop saying, well, they're clutch. Or we have to stop saying there's a conspiracy to make them win. What they're doing is not sustainable. I agree. Look, they've outscored teams by 56 points, and they're 12-1. The Detroit Lions have outscored teams by 183 points, and they're 12-1. Those two things are not equal. And yeah, if you're looking for an underdog shot in the playoffs, maybe pick against the Chiefs in their first game. I'm with you.
12-1 and 12-1 are exactly equal.
That sounds like some Miami Marlins logic there, David. Come on.
That feels like a pot shot. All right, one of my agendas on this show has been the entire college football season saying the ACC is underrated. And I look at these lines in the college football playoff, and I see some value there. Is this just confirmation that the ACC is not that good, or can there be some winning here with these ACC teams?
We like SMU as a feisty underdog more than Clemson. For a variety of reasons, but largely starting with sort of the unpredictable outcome style of play. Look, we've been studying, we cut our teeth on college basketball upsets, right? And like Peter mentioned, one of the things you look for is teams that have bouncy results, that play high risk, high reward strategies, that don't do conventional things. And we're seeing some of that in SMU, right, Peter?
Peter,
he's gone. Upside down,
yeah,
Peter
he
left.
Oh my
dropped
God!
out.
I finally got rid of him.
Okay,
Well,
Jordan, can you help me? Look,
Can you go upside down?
This makes David
was working.
Samson a little bit crazy, okay? And you help me walk David Samson through this because he's very much about order, about being on time, and everything else. For your friend to arrive here upside down and then disconnect because he doesn't know how to use his technology is making David Samson a little bit crazy.
See, it's making me incredibly happy because when he can't figure out, and I call him grandpa when various technology things are happening, like now it's happening on the big stage and I'm sharing all my frustration on a weekly basis with you guys. You have no idea the joy this is bringing me right now.
I did their show and he couldn't even show up. I had to do it alone because
It was
Wait, you did their show alone? Yes, because
With me.
there was a technology issue.
With me.
This.
I like him just doing underdogs. Hey, it's David Samson. It's
It
Underdogs.
is so great. I want this to become the biggest gambling podcast in America with somebody giving you great information. They just don't know how to do it right side up.
They keep it to themselves.
All the underdogs, all the best information kept to themselves. These guys actually give you very good numerical logic. It feels almost empirical what they're doing. They're finding value in mining a bunch of numbers for gold. So I don't know if you're doing basketball. You mentioned SMU as an underdog.
Yep.
What is the greatest value in sports this week? What are some of the places you got?
Well, if I had Peter at showing up right side up,
He's ready.
plus
Go ahead,
1,000, and man, look, I think you mentioned the college football playoff. What's interesting is all of those spreads are a touchdown or more, right? So you're getting value in any of them. The problem is the way the system is set up right now, it is not exactly good to be an underdog right now. We're seeing this incredible lack of balance between the conferences, and it's just setting us up to a situation where I don't really like any of the 4 teams, but we always say in the NCAA tournament, if you like the 12 seed to beat the 5 seed, we'll take them to beat the 4 in the next round too. So you've got this situation now where a team like SMU, if they win their first game, well then, okay, might as well take them to beat Boise State, right? And suddenly they're in the semifinals. So there's your value. Taking them, I can't even look at this straight, but
I can't tell if he's upset because his frown is upside down.
Jessica, you say that bowl season starts Saturday. Surely you want some gambling advice from these men.
I mean, if I needed it, which I don't, but hypothetically, if I needed it because I wasn't already a bowl season expert, Dan, what do you make of trying to put bets on bowl season when there are dozens of opt-outs of every game, coaches changing minute by minute, and sort of like the incentive to winning the games has slightly diminished since the playoffs started?
yeah, look, I'm not a tout, and we're not specifically a gambling show, right? We talk about why unlikely things happen in sports. Gambling is a piece of that. I do not bet on college. For every reason you just said, Jessica, I do not bet on college football bowl games, which I look is basically glorified exhibitions at this point. So, no. Will I bet on the Tony Awards? Perhaps, but not that.
Are you guys doing the Oscar show? You and Adnan Virk, are you doing the Oscars show again?
It's under negotiation.
Okay. Jordan Brenner
It's one of my favorite things when you try to do that on the air naturally.
Jordan Brenner and Peter Keating are the underdogs, and David Samson is in negotiations with Adnan Virk.
We are going to do it. There, I said it,
There.
Dan
All right.
Batard. You
Thank
got
you.
it
That's
out of it.
aggressive.
Thank you.
We're doing it.
When you said Tony Awards, I almost looked at Tony and was like, oh,
We are doing a Tony
you're
show
doing
live
an
for the Tony
award
Awards.
show?
Yeah, we could do that.
You should do a Tony Award. You should do the Tony
Tonys.
Awards and then just make it different ridiculous.
This isn't
awards.
about us, though. This is about the underdog.
Yeah.
We
Give me
did a
one
Tony
bowl
show.
game.
It was fantastic.
Give me one bowl game that I can bet on. Just one.
Bet on the playoff games. I'm not
No.
literally. I have not looked at the bowl schedule. It
Celebration
couldn't
Bowl, Jackson State,
interest
Saturday?
me less.
Okay,
I
I'll
know
take 'em.
Duke's playing Ole Miss. That's about it.
Best gambling show in the country.
Here is right
Not a
side
gambling
up,
show.
Peter. It's not a gambling show. They're just good at diving into the numbers and giving you the underdogs. They have, Jordan, what would you say is the greatest example of you guys knowing what you do? If I'm sitting here selling to people that you guys are good at this, that you've been mining numbers for 20 years, that you're looking for advantages in the smallest of margins, how would you two go about proving to people that you're good at this?
Well, there's this little thing called March Madness that we've been doing for 20 years. At ESPN, it was called Giant Killers. Now we do it on our show and at The Athletic as Bracket Breakers. And we have found trends in upsets in NCAA tournament games that have lasted the test of time, okay? Did you like Oakland over Kentucky last year? Because we nailed that. 15s over 2s, 12s over 5s. We've been getting those for a year because we found patterns in the type of teams that come up with upsets and the type of teams that are vulnerable. We're looking at you, Purdue, Virginia. Styles of play matter, strategies matter, and it's been fun. We got to talk about. We did a panel on this at Sloan once. It was fun. We talked about with underdogs from a variety of fields and the lessons we learned in college basketball. Again, big crazy math things like 3 points is worth more than 2 points, and taking the ball away from your opponent actually matters because they don't get a shot up. But those lessons really, really hold true when you talk to people in a variety of sports. Again, doing something that is unconventional gives you a puncher's chance against a superior opponent. And find your example, it's there.
Peter? He's muted.
Oh, Peter.
Guys, this is how we plan to sell our show. I just want you to know that.
You're You're muted.
All right, perfect.
All right, guys, thank you. That is Underdogs. It is the Underdogs podcast. It is right here on the DraftKings Network.
But on our own show, we have audio and right side up pictures. So you have to tune in to find it.
Peter, your answer seemed like it was so good. If it hadn't been muted, what would it have sounded like?
I was going to say we've been around so long. Our original role models were Statler and Waldorf from the Muppet Show. You know, the guys in the balcony.
Guys, see you later. we were done
See
with
ya.
you. See you later.
I like their odds with an iPhone better than yours.
That's right. It's Thursday Thunder, and it's sponsored by DraftKings. Stay tuned because you're going to hear all about that DraftKings has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Tony?
Guys, Thursday Thunder is brought to you today by Juju Gotti. The return of Juju Gotti on Thursday Thunder. We've got, again, because four-leg parlays work so well, we're back on the four-leg parlay ski, starting with the Thursday night game tonight.
Why did you make it Polish or Russian? Why did
just
you
add
make
the ski
it?
at
Why
the
did
end.
you add a ski there?
No, it's just what we do.
Why do you seize on it when he does it? Juju does that all the time.
A 4-team parlay? Well,
Ski.
because these are hard to convert. And
Very difficult.
Go ahead.
Some saying for this show, impossible.
Well, what did you last week you had Laporta. I love betting tight end, so you just bet Laporta in 2 legs of the parlay. You got that.
We got 3 of the 4 legs, which we do routinely.
Just like we did a couple times ago with the.
If you want to bet
Baltimore
the
and Cincinnati
single,
game.
you're doing all right. But that's not what we're doing.
We're
First
betting all
leg.
4 of them.
We're due.
First leg, squeaky wheel situation going on right now. Deebo Samuel over 4.5 receptions. Squeaky wheel. What does it do, Dan?
It gets the
Gets the grease.
passes.
Yep,
Yes,
that's right. All right. No squeaky wheel needed for the second leg of the parlay. Puka Nacua over 7.5 receptions.
He's good.
man, is he good.
It looks like he's like running in slow motion, but then he's always open.
Where were he and Cooper Kupp drafted? Like, what were their prospects in terms of making the measurements? Because I really don't understand how that team has been able to go straight from Cooper Kupp's going to get the 2,000-yard season to Puka's going to be just as the same kind of unstoppable. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Famously low.
Third leg of the parlay. I'm going to get that for you in a second. Third leg of the parlay. We're going over to the basketball side of things. Toronto Raptors versus your Miami Heat today. Over 9.5 points for Scary Terry.
Oh, that is dangerous.
That's a tough one.
He's going to be traded. He's going to be traded.
Did you see
he
him
can
fighting
play.
with Bam over the rebound because he was one rebound short? Oh, Cooper Kupp not that low. Third round.
No, BYU star Puka Nacua, 5th round, 177th pick.
How's that possible? Like,
Good scouting over there.
No, well, is it good scouting, or is it that the Rams know some things about
Missed him 4 times.
about a system that might explain how it is that those guys work well with their guy?
Or, David, if you look at it, 4 other times they were like, you know what? Nobody's going to pick him again and again and again and again. 5th round, bam, you get it. All right, last leg of the parlay. We're going back to Thursday Night Football. Jawan Jennings.
He's a really good player.
Yeah.
Jawan Jennings over 40 yards receiving. So, squeaky wheel game for Deebo Samuel over 4.5 receptions. Puka Nacua over 7.5 receptions. Scary Terry over 9.5 receptions. I was waiting for the lightning bolt there.
Not receptions, points.
Yeah. Excuse me, points. That would have been crazy to have Terry over 9.5.
Seems like we're in a
receptions.
contract year, and you got to get the difference between points and everything
Yeah,
else
but you know,
correct.
Yes. Jawan Jennings over 40 yards.
Thank you.
When he's healthy, he delivers. There's value there in his individual props.
Can
all
we
year
talk about something that happened last night? I don't know if you guys were entertained by the in-season tournament. I am somebody who doesn't want to be cynical. If you want to give me more stakes and want to invent different changes to make something more interesting, baseball's certainly done that successfully, and basketball is trying to keep up. So they have only tournament games last night, and what happens last night is, to me, Trae Young introduces himself back to Madison Square Garden, to New York, and to America last night. It feels like he's been gone for a year and a half. It feels like since we watched him knock off this city in the playoffs, that he then went right to the bottom of the standings, could have been available to anyone if you wanted to trade for him as somebody who's going to shoot from 40 feet. And then last night, Madison Square Garden, in a sign of disrespect in the realm of flag planting,
Felony.
At mid-court, while making fun of New York that hates him, New York that he enjoys playing against and enjoys beating there, he pantomimes that he's rolling dice on their court because he's at home and...
well, no, because they're going to Vegas.
And he is, yes. But
Why.
yeah, because they're going to Vegas, but also he's making fun of New York at the symbolic center of New York because he enjoys knocking off the Knicks. I love villains.
Before the final whistle, too. Like, this is during the game as he's milking the clock. Like, he is taunting them at center court, reminding everybody, keep in mind, this is a guy that appeared when SmackDown was in Madison Square Garden. He appeared as a heel, had a whole Titantron entrance and everything just to absorb the booze. It's the only NBA game this season that I've tuned in for start to finish because I wanted to see this spectacle, and he delivered.
You know, in Vegas, you don't have to bend over that much to roll the dice.
I think there's a white guy situation.
There's a white guy
with David,
situation. There's just two Americas when it comes to the dice.
No, I know, but in Vegas, it's the craps table. No,
Well,
I
maybe
know.
he wasn't
when you
doing the
play-
Vegas dice.
That's
Maybe
not
he
a
was
white
doing the
guy
New York.
thing. That's West Side Story.
But
That's Guys and Dolls.
Look,
what are you talking about?
you illuminated me to the
I've never
fact
seen
that
either.
he might be doing a Vegas thing. I thought he was doing a New York thing.
I'm going to be a white guy with David. I think he was implying we're on our way to Vegas. I'm with you. The dice that you guys are talking about is usually on the ground, but he's trying to say Vegas there, but he's doing it.
But that was a New York posture. Maybe he was trying to say both. Wow, it's that meta.
So that is a white guy thing. It didn't even occur to me that it was anything other than celebrating going to Vegas.
I don't think he cares about going to Vegas.
That was clearly
That's literally what they just cashed their ticket for.
Street gambling. He was throwing dice on the side of the road. But I love that what David did to show you that he was not the white guy is go not just West Side Story, but also Guys and Dolls, two Broadway
Was he
shows.
George Costanza?
He didn't go just, I deny what you're saying about me. I'm not that white. Here are two things that show how gangster I am. West Side Story and Guys and Dolls, when people fight and also sing and dance.
I got the horse right here. His name is Paul Revere.
It's unbelievable.
Fugue for Tin Horns.
I thought that was BC Boys.
He should have done. Britney Spears' dance from her Vegas residency, the work bitch dance. You know, like the little.
I can't.
No?
That's like the Vogue. I always try to do the Vogue, and I can't quite do it. I have no rhythm.
It's pretty simple.
You always try to do the Vogue.
Yeah, I always have tried to be that after
do
the
it again.
Material Girl video. So I try to do that, and it just doesn't work.
I'm just sitting here.
No, it's working.
It's not working. Nothing that David is doing right now is working. I did not have West Side Story and Guys and Dolls as a defense coming up to prove you were less white.
Oh, there's a lot of Puerto Ricans in West Side Story.
Yeah.
I don't view West Side Story as a white guy
No,
one.
it's just the cultural references that is where you're showing your ass.
It was nominated for Best Picture a couple years ago. Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, what'd you think about the remake?
Terrible.
I didn't need it.
Absolutely
Original's
not
fine.
necessary. It's worse than Christian Bale.
Can you guys walk me through something that I've been interested about for years now? I don't know how long Francis Ford Coppola has been trying to make Megalopolis, okay? But the reviews that it is getting are so bad that it will be an eternal bust, and I don't know how much money he paid because he insisted on making this movie himself. And it's a crazy gamble to make these things yourself. And so I don't know how many tens of millions of dollars one of the great filmmakers of our time has spent in his 80s to have his career punctuation be something that is an eternal and echoing expensive flop. What are you guys laughing about?
I wanted to lock eyes because I could tell if someone was scanning the room to lock eyes with somebody, he was looking for someone who also watched Megalopolis.
I needed anybody.
I also watched it.
So you didn't, but you're doing this from a vantage point of not having seen it.
The vantage point I have is not only that I haven't seen it, it's the following. I've been waiting for this movie for a long time. I've been wondering, what does Francis Ford Coppola want to make so badly that he'll make it with his own money and can't get anyone to make it for him? And the words that I have heard about the movie since then have made me not want to watch it because everyone hates it so much.
You must watch it.
You owe it to him to watch it because of his career. And Kevin Costner just did the same thing with Horizon, so it's not entirely uncommon to do a passion project. Steven Spielberg spent a ton of money on passion project involving the Holocaust. Not uncommon for someone like Francis Ford Coppola to be legacy fishing right now for himself. So I did not have the same reaction to you at all, and I'm disappointed that you would react that way.
Why disappointed?
It's disrespectful to him.
No. Here, look. You say it's
so is Godfather 3.
You say it's disrespectful to him, but it has been such a bad reaction from everybody. I'm not hearing anyone say this is a worthy movie of this man's talent. And so they've killed it for me before I've even gotten started. And I haven't had that happen a whole lot to me, where word of mouth kills my enthusiasm for something that quickly.
He should have just been the head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels instead.
That got my curiosity stimulated this morning. But you're talking about an 80-year-old guy, and I know the Costner story. Costner has lost a lot of money because he's Western obsessed, and he thought that Yellowstone, he was going to parlay that into Frontier, and it was terrible. Horizon, excuse me, and it was terrible.
It wasn't terrible.
Well,
Did you see it?
No, I have not.
What are you talking about?
Jason, just go back to baseball.
I think what he's saying is no one saw it.
It got terrible reviews, and it flopped at the box office as well, and so has Megalopolis. But in the case of Costner, I'm not expecting what I expect from Francis Ford Coppola. How long has he been wanting to make this movie, and how much of his own money did he pour into this? Because it's a different money that he has versus what Kevin Costner has.
Costner came out and said, I want to say the number was around over $50 million, and the rumor is with Coppola that it's higher than that. But there may be a difference because Costner has a chance to make it back because it's a series of Horizon movies, though they did delay Horizon 2, but he's filming Horizon 3 and 4. Coppola just got it done in one movie.
Yeah, so
4?
We watched Megalopolis, and I think the bummer, because it's really ambitious, and it's an impossible. It's a lot like Dune. How do you put this on film? It's difficult to make, and I think the thing standing in its way was the guy that wanted to make it the most, because I watch and I'm like, this is not well made. This is like he wanted this take? Really? It's all awkward. Everyone's got that, like, you know how there's like a unique accent to movies made about like Odysseus and Troy, like Brad Pitt talks like, now you know who you're fighting. And you're like, what is that accent? Is that English? What is this supposed to be? Everyone has kind of like that accent and delivery. It could just be an Adam Driver thing. I think we've got to start looking at Adam Driver when he stars in a movie. That doesn't go well at all.
Marriage Story?
Okay, he co-starred in that one. When he's carrying a movie, when he's carrying something, it ain't working out for him. House of Gucci, same thing. House of Gucci is one of the worst films I've ever seen. And like this was so bad.
You are questioning publicly Adam Driver's leading man credentials.
I'm saying there's a track record there that would make you concerned. I believe him to be a talent.
Did you see Ferrari?
I did not. I'm getting to that one, though.
That'd be a good data point to have.
Yes, it would be. But it also didn't do well in the box office. And like, if you put Adam Driver as the star of your film, it more than likely flops. I'm just saying. This is a track record. This is not a matter of opinion. I'm just pointing you to the facts. So I watched it.
More like Adam Passenger.
And I wanted to really hate it the entire time.
That's a good
one.
He's right about that, though. He's right about that,
I watched it the entire time.
You were proud of that.
And I'm like, I'm not going to be the guy that turns around on this film. This is a bad movie. This is not even funny bad. This is dreadful. And I'm like, all right, Mike, checking in. Are you going to be snarky about it, or are you going to hold the line? Hold the line. 90 minutes roll around. Hold the line. This is bad. Final act, this is genius. This is one of the best bad movies I've ever seen, because it's so audacious, so ambitious, so over the top, so overwritten, so overacted, so over-directed that I came out saying, wow, that was a great time. I was also on 20 milligrams.
Oh.
I wasn't watching that Stone Cold Sober. Are you kidding me?
noise?
Let me understand something here. Tony, can you tell me, please, how much money Francis Ford Coppola put into his own movie?
Tune of about $120 million. Obviously, some other things that were brought in, but about that amount.
Can you also tell me how long Francis Ford Coppola wanted to make this movie?
He started developing it in 1983.
So now I want to ask you guys when it comes to legacy, because we were talking about this the other day, and I was saying, man, Odell Beckham, he's got to be embarrassed by that 1 catch, 1 yard on the Dolphins, just given who he's been. When I present to you this information, Francis Ford Coppola has been wanting to make something for 40 years that he gets to the end of his life, and it costs him $120 million.
His errors.
My God, it must hurt to have it received this way. You're shaking your head.
It doesn't hurt. He did it. He didn't do it for you. He didn't do it for the reviews. He didn't do it for the return. He did it because this was his life project. 40 years. He can put a bow on his career in his mind. He's not focused on your show and what you're saying about it.
It might actually kind of be like the Belichick thing in that he's already got the greatest of all time. You can't take it away from him. So what if his career ends with like something that I'm laughing at on my couch at like 11 o'clock at night in 20 milligrams? He has like 2 of the greatest films ever that he can point to, and no one's ever going to take that away from him.
And all his friends probably tell him it's awesome. They're like, you did a great job. Great movie. We love it.
I'm not sure he thinks it's awesome.
It was very self-indulgent, but he could turn to me in a very dramatic Adam Driver type voice and say, am I not entitled that?
You are really taking out that gangly Ichabod Crane Adam Driver. You're just crushing him like getting a
crush him as hard as you did.
Can you guys get for me the video of Jon Gruden, and just in general, can we talk finally about the fact that Barstool has resuscitated Jon Gruden's career that's got some crappy stuff in it that probably shouldn't be resuscitated, but Jon Gruden is a cartoon character, really loves football, loves talking about football, and Jon Gruden has made his way to Barstool in a way that I've seen in the eating area here. You guys have arguments about the fact that, yeah, that's fun for a week. But once Jon Gruden's doing that all around the offices for a month, a lot of you have like, that's going to get annoying.
I think one person said that, and we didn't like that.
We're
he
aligned.
said that. We're aligned. We're football guys.
We're Gruden grinders.
Exactly right.
Look, it's a lot like O.J. Simpson doing Twitter videos. Do I feel some kind of way about it? Sure. Yes. Am I still going to watch it because of the open hello Twitter world? Yes, I'm going to occasionally. You're not fascinated?
Who's
O.J.
feeling
Simpson
nicey?
He's like Jon Gruden's feeling nicey.
I'm in. Who?
So in this one still, it was a video that he put out because last weekend was a Gruden Bowl, Raiders versus Bucks. And so, he's caught in between it. He has a famous Raider fan there, and he's talking. He's doing his Gruden face. Do you notice anything about this photo, this still image?
Shirt's inside out.
His polo shirt is inside out. A polo shirt inside out. Like I can excuse a T-shirt inside out. That's happened. The polo shirt? The collar. Polo shirt
buttons are inside.
The buttons are inside.
Yeah.
The patch is on the outside.
Mike, you're right to be indignant about this. I don't feel qualified to criticize it as someone who once went to the zoo wearing my mother's too tight blouse without knowing it because I'd pulled it out of the dry cleaner.
Yeah, you did that.
If Gruden got offered 50 for 5, he'd leave Barstool pretty quickly, Dan.
He is not making the money in media that Bill Belichick is. I don't know why you think that Bill Belichick isn't making or wasn't making a lot of money in media. I don't think you were paying attention to the number of job opportunities that Bill Belichick was partaking in, and I also don't think that you're paying attention to the amount of money that Manning Cast and McAfee's and all these people are throwing around to get into this game.
He's making more at UNC.
Do you think it was done on purpose because of how people would talk about that's pretty insane. He has a polo shirt inside out. Or did he have it inside out the entire day and no one told him?
Was it done in haste?
Yes.
Was his shirt off right before the picture was
That's
taken?
what we're trying to figure out.
The internet is filled with wild speculation here as to what kind of scenario.
Question.
Reckless you could.
What a great sentence. Was it done in haste? What are you suggesting was happening?
That's actually the
before?
writing that's in Megalopolis.
Was it done in haste? What do you, he was shirtless, scrambling right before the
want a
photograph
photo
was
now.
taken?
Whoa, let me put this on.
So it popped on my radar, and I got to be honest, the take that was attached to this video was already leading the jury.
It was.
Did this guy just put on his shirt in a rush
Inside
to film a
out.
selfie video?
Inside out.
Because that's the only way you can go throughout the day with an inside out polo.
Yeah.
So wait a minute. Do I have it straight that once you guys are asking the question, was it done in haste? Are you now intimating that Jon Gruden and a very famous Raider fan,
The most famous Raider fan,
I'm not doing
apparently.
anything. I'm just
Asking the question.
directing you to the internet.
We don't know with who.
We know with who.
you don't.
With who?
You are saying done in haste, and then that he is scrambling to put a shirt on inside out. And let me see it again here. Are you guys alleging that he is radiant and postcoital, and then further alleging that the only passions shared between these two people are about perhaps Raider football or just Gruden football, but it's just football passion that's being shared here. But for some reason, a pink and bloated Jon Gruden had to, in haste, put on a polo shirt backwards because something breathless might have happened beyond conversation.
Look, I'm not attaching a take to this, but that does not look to me like a wardrobe that was done while someone was taking their time.
Thoughtfully, yeah.
Yeah, that was not like, okay, let me get my fit on in front of the everything good.
Can I get
patch
some
is right.
opinions from the room? Roy, can I get a vote here? Are you voting yes or no? Jon Gruden put that shirt on in haste.
Yes.
All right. And in haste because he was shirtless moments before?
Yes.
Because he was doing what?
You're trying to get him to say that thing, and
The
that's
thing.
an unfair
Don't
spot.
let him say the thing.
Just put it on the chat is saying. The chat is saying he had sex before the show. Before doing that video, which is really unfair with respect
To all
to
parties involved.
All parties involved. But that is one of the hypothetical scenarios that you can concoct when you ask yourself, why is this person wearing a polo inside
I think
out?
he could have been tanning, which is why he's got the face that looks sunburned.
No, he's always
He always
pink.
looks like that,
He's
yeah.
always
Maybe
pink.
he's just an idiot.
Yes. The shirt they had on before was
Chat
worse
is
than the
saying.
shirt they had
What
on.
would give you that impression, Jessica? What
I don't
would
know, like
indi-
his 61-year life.
It's feeling nicey.
what would
Yikes.
what would indicate to you that our great champion here would be an idiot throwing on a shirt from the laundry that he got inside out because he's probably been a frat boy for 40 years.
You think he's just crunching film shirtless, and he's like, oh, goddamn, man. Gotta grab the shirt from the chair that's clothes that are too dirty to hang up but too clean to put on the hamper.
Before we get to Juju here, Roy, Chris, did you have a highlight of today's show? Because off the top of my head, I really enjoyed welcoming the underdogs and laughing at the fact that Jordan Brenner and Peter Keating couldn't at any point get their shit together.
That's mine.
Yeah, you kind of took mine. Let me think if there's...
Okay, so you guys don't have anything better than that? All
Nope.
right,
It's
okay.
most memorable for sure.
Okay,
I'm
well,
not going
no,
to forget that for a long time.
It was funny. So, Juju, what do you have for us? What is out there today that has made people object to anything that we're doing? What's the positivity that we should be celebrating today?
What's going on, my brothers?
Yo!
Get me? Good to see y'all as always. I think we missed over one of the highlights of my day. I want to give my brother flowers because he scooped Shefty. He scooped everybody. I think y'all know what this is right here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Congratulations, Taylor. Wow. Oh, okay. See, I've been oh my God. All right, look, I've been holding Taylor down, and now Juju insists on making him a star. I don't want Taylor to be
You
a
feel me?
star.
Salute my brother.
That's unbelievable. That's good gear.
This is the #1 selling jersey in all of America today. Google it.
That
Trust
is
me.
really good. That is North Carolina jersey. Taylor's last name is on it. They don't put names on the walk-on jerseys, right? So Juju just got you a better jersey than the one you had at North Carolina. Did he not? No,
Don't do my brother like that. Nah, bro. His name was on the back of it. It's in bars across. No, don't do my brother.
Okay.
Not today.
All right.
I was so turned up in here in the living room. He was like, ESPN, you got schooled on the biggest college story by the person living in the smallest studio apartment. Man, I was screaming on top of my lungs. My neighbor literally knocked on the wall to this morning. He was like, SMU, you cheated and you ain't do shit. I was like, yeah.
Duke, welcome to another decade of irrelevance.
All right, so you guys, I thought that was a lot for him to bite off to try and go after the rants, but he did. He earned with his information information. He had a bigger story that he didn't share with anybody the Meadowlark Media way. We have the breaking news. We just don't give it to you for profit or in time for you to be surprised by or call it the breaking news. It's not a great slogan. Not a great slogan,
Yes, sir.
Juju.
Watch out for the ponies. A story came across the desk the other day that I couldn't believe it was actually a story. I think it was yesterday that they're finally allowing maybe the thought of reviewing face masks and different penalties. It's like, bro, why have they not always done that? You did me like, why review anything if you're not going to review the penalty? I think the NFL is doing the right thing with that because it's like the drawing. Without reviewing some of those face masks at the end of the game, you get the drawing from the Twitter with the beautiful horse that turns into horse shit at the end of the game because you missed the damn face mask. You feel me? So hats off to the NFL. Yeah, do something right. I'm gonna salute it.
If you have the technology, your goal should be to make it most right. Those people are killing themselves to try and get an extra yard. You shouldn't get the call wrong if you have the technology, but they're worried about the game's pace, and so they allow it to be a little less accurate. Even though, that I don't know how many people would disagree with what you're saying there, Juju. What else today do we have in the way of criticism, constructive criticism?
We had a positive, a big poll from the other day that we didn't get back to. Is change hard for old people? Because it's been a buzz in the dimensions, and 97% of the audience says yes, and 3% of the audience says no. And also salute to Joe Thornburg. He kept it real with us. He said, "I just voted no to be a jag-off. Sorry." And so I would say that's about 98%. And that's right, bro. It's like, it's hard to change. And it made me think that, like, it's even before that, just as hard as it is for some old people to change, it's hard to get rid of some developmental stuff you have, which is why I think that elementary schools should institute a different class called patience, a different class called what to do with your anger management, because some children grow up in single homes, or they just grow up in a home that allows XYZ versus a home that would never play this crap, or just doesn't have the right parenting, or, people having babies having babies these days. So it'll be, I think, cool to institute something in these elementary schools before they learn about Christopher Columbus and social studies and all that jazz. Let's teach them how to handle their anger once it happens, because it's going to happen. Let's teach them how to be resilient. Let's teach them forgiveness. You feel me? Because some of that stuff is not being taught at their homes. I don't know why I went off on that.
No, that's pretty good, though. You're basically talking about practical schooling. Just here, you go to a year's worth of classes, and one of them is handling change, or handling your anger, or just basically doing therapy instead of textbooks where you're just sort of running through feelings instead of learning things. No, what you're saying makes sense. We got to get back to updating the polls. Can we start? People have been complaining about that, Juju. I've seen that, and they're right, that we give the polls and then we don't update the polls. I think most people listening to this would say that change is hard for them. And I also would say that anywhere you find growth, you're going to find change. So I don't know why it is that you would object to the idea of change. But old people, Chris, your dad is he is fully functionally formed. Like, he is done learning. There will be no learning for your father anymore. He's going straight from wherever he is to fossil without learning one more thing. He is stubborn about change like no one I've ever met, and my dad is plenty stubborn about change. Your father is going to be the worst version of this that you've ever seen, Chris. You've already seen pieces of this. He stubbornly refuses to change anything he thinks, believes, or acts. There is no learning being done by Greg Cody for any more time in his life. Does anyone dispute what I'm saying?
Nope.
No notes.
I love you, Greg Cody.
I have a poll here. Is Inglourious Basterds the best of the Tarantino movies? 59% say no.
What do you like better, Juju?
I love Inglourious Basterds. I think also, too, when my boy Tony was giving his list, y'all was coming at him with knives out and elbows. This is his list. If everybody got a list, let everybody make a list. But I think that I love Inglourious Bastards, bro. I like The Hateful Eight. It's not one movie that I would necessarily go back
Pulp
to.
Fiction is the one that I mean, I just think that Pulp Fiction, but it's also the one that introduced me to Tarantino. So.
Reservoir Dogs should have been the one that introduced you to Tarantino there.
No, I did them in reverse. I did it the other way. I hadn't seen Reservoir Dogs. After I saw Pulp Fiction, I went and found Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah.
Hey, also, I watched the Jamie Foxx special. Spoiler alert, kinda, sorta. Lookout alert, kinda. This wasn't a stand-up to me. This was like a sit-down with his fans to explain what he's been going. Ooh, excuse me, it's $12 for me. Sorry. To kind of explain what the last couple of years have looked like from his perspective. So if you're going in looking for the laugh of your life, you may not get that, but at the same time, it was just a feel good. Like an hour and a half of just feel good.
Oh, Juju, so let me tell you what I did last night with the Jamie Foxx special, which I've been looking forward to for a number of different reasons. But I understand what you're saying. I wonder if he's getting critically panned because what he did was heartfelt as opposed to doing traditional stand-up comedy from one of the most talented people anywhere in Hollywood. I started to watch it, and when I saw in the first 5 minutes that he was crying and in a really heartfelt way thanking Atlanta for saving his life, I'm like, let me stop this real quick. I'm trying to go into something thinking I'm getting something else, and if he's going to do this just emotionally grateful, thank you for saving my life, I want to revisit this with a different mind frame. I don't want to watch this as a comedy special. I want to watch a celebrity actually have a connection with a city that he cares about because he's just grateful that he's grateful that he gets that night with his family, with his daughter introducing him.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. I had mentioned I tried to watch it after Jamar chased them on Monday night, but I got to that same point. I was like, whoa, okay. I'm gonna dog-ear this and come in prepared. As long as you go back prepared for what you're getting into, I think you will love it.
I turned it off right after, Juju, out of respect for I misread this one. I turned it off right after I saw, he's crying. He is so grateful to be on that stage that instead of performing, he's just crying. I've got to look at this differently. I expected something else.
Yes, sir. And before I leave, I want to send a shout out and a salute to my brother Roy for the best Christmas gift that a brother can ever receive. Holy moly. Thank you so much, Roy.
Roy, you sent a Christmas gift, Roy. You're a Christmas gift giver. What is that?
That's a Christmas tree ornament of the Larry O'Brien trophy with the Celtics logo on it.
Come on, it goes perfect with this one. It's like my house is Championship City. It also goes great with this one because you forgot I'm a Panthers fan.
That's right.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you so much, Roy.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Early Christmas giving. Juju, good seeing you, sir. Thank you for stopping by. On Sunday, sir. Juju will be with Tony right after the football games on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. And also, too, I do a poor job of this. LevitarAF.com. I got some T-shirts I've been making for the show. You feel me? And around the show for the last couple of months, even while I was off. Go check them out. We got a lot of good stuff that's supporting good brothers and sisters from the show. Salute.
I will tell everyone listening to this, again, if you do not know what the show's relationship is with Juju Gotti, I believe that he cares about the way the show looks and sounds and feels and the connection with its audience more than most people I know. Never mind that just work here, most people that listen to the show. So if you like his artistic taste, you can get more of it at LevitarAF.com, where he has stylized some of the T-shirts along with Angel Resto. Thank you, Juju. We will talk to you again.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Juju.
Thank y'all.
See you, Juju.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Let me know. Carl has been under it this week. Oh, he's gone? He's gone.
What's up, everybody? Tony here. Do you love sports betting as much as I do? Wish you can get that extra edge? Well, I've got great news for you. Masterclass, which I love, by the way, just dropped Bet Smart, Top Sports Betting Strategies, a game-changing course taught by GOATs, taught by the pros, such as Nick Kostos, Captain Jack Andrews, Joe Fotenbaugh. Learn directly from the pros as they share insider secrets on managing your bankroll, spotting hidden gems, and avoiding those rookie mistakes that could cost you big. I'm always looking for useful tips and tricks to improve my bankroll and just to be a better in general. That's why I took the Bet Smart Top Sports Betting Strategies class. I consider myself a pretty confident bettor when I hear Rob Pizzola, when I hear Captain Jack break down the pros and the cons of flat staking, of protecting your bankroll against bad bets, a lot of different things that we don't think about as regular bettors. I realized I wasn't betting to my full potential, and that's why I love taking this class with Masterclass. Masterclass always has great offers during the holidays, sometimes up to as much as 50%. Head over to masterclass.com/DLB for the current offer. That's up to 50% off. Masterclass.com/DLB. Masterclass.com/DLB. And remember, all sports betting involves risk, and you're responsible for complying with all sports betting laws in your jurisdiction.
What's up, everybody? It's Mike, and it's the holiday season. And the holiday season means family gatherings. You're going to be hosting your family, opening up your doors to, let's face it, potentially some problems. There's always family disagreements and things up for debate. Well, let me tell you something that's not up for debate. The great taste of Miller Lite. In these polarizing times, it's good to have something that we can find general consensus on, and that is that beautiful white can, Miller Lite. Is awesome. It makes any time a Miller time, and it's got tastes that you know that you can depend on. A beer that is brewed for people who actually like the taste of beer. And let's not forget, simple ingredients and the fact that Miller Lite is only 96 calories, folks. That's right, and just 3.2 grams per 12 ounces. Making memories at year-end gatherings, I ask you? Well, make those memories taste like Miller time. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan and find delivery options near you. Or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere that they sell beer. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer.